In the Robert Frost poem "Come In", the speaker the speaker is at the edge of the woods and he hears his music, the hark, and he ponders about the hark and how it's trapped in these woods and calling him in. And at the end, he convinces himself that he's only out here for the stars. He won't go in the woods. So, in this poem, Frost um, creates these contrasting words, contrasting words to create this feeling of um, invitation of the woods to the speakers to come in the woods, even though the woods is gloomy and melancholy and such. So in the first paragraph, he contrasts the words thirst, music, and hark, and dusk in contrast with dark. While in the second stanza, he contrasts too dark and with it still could sing. But then, coincidentally, the verse though it still could sing gives a feeling that the bird is still slowly giving up, slowly giving up its song, even though it could find the light, or you could say the light is the song, even when it is too dark for the bird to better its perch. Which leads to the third stanza that gives a similar feeling as the second stanza. In the third stanza, the last of the light of the sun gives a sad, melancholy feeling, because when the light should be something to be joyful of, it died in the west. The last two lines also give a feeling of regret, as the last of the light still lived for the one song more in the thrust's breast. But then this song hasn't come out and has been trapped in the bird for some reason. So the last of the light didn't actually appear. And we can connect to other poems in the Robert Frost poem collections, because Robert Frost often uses last to contrast with whatever he's trying to give out in his poems. For example, in the Late Walk, he also uses last and the last remaining aster flower, or in Reluctance, he says the last lone aster is gone. And while aster flower should be a flower that's beautiful and pretty, he uses last to mean that this prettiness, this amazingness is going to die. Then the fourth and fifth stanza gradually involves the speaker too, as though the speaker is being drawn to the observations and inferences he makes about the woods and the birds in the woods, while he stands on the edge of the woods. It feels like the speaker is trying to grasp himself from being drawn into the woods. And a bigger inference can be made that he's trying to stop himself from being drawn into his own melancholy. So in the fourth stanza, this stanza has contrast of the dark enveloping the light. In the first line and the fourth line, the words that have dark connotations are pillar dark and lament, which contrasts with the second and third line, thrust, music, and a beautiful song calling him to come in. Well, but then in this case, the come in, if you look at it literally, it would be to come into the woods. But then, if you look at it figuratively, it might be indicating like that the thrust music is calling him to come in to his inner gloom. Then the last stanza directly involves the speaker, as the speaker questions himself, saying multiple times that he would not come in, that he wouldn't come in even if he asked, that he wouldn't come in because he hadn't asked. But then he's sort of second guessing himself in here and tries to establish his confidence that he won't go in the woods, even though all the rest of the poem was talking about how the wood and the bird beckons him to come in. And in this case, this stanza seems like the other Robert Frost poems, The Storm Fear, because in The Storm Fear, the nature is also morphed into something sinister, like the woods in this poem. And in this poem, the speaker says, "I would not come in," while in Storm Fear, the speaker says, no, no," even when the storm tells the speaker to come out. And another interesting connection from this poem to other poems in Robert Frost's collections is that Frost often contrasts the word dark with words that have positive connotations. For example, in the Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, he says, "The woods are lovely, dark, and deep," and he contrasts the word dark with lovely. And also, while this whole poem talks about the wood and the bird trying to get the speaker to come in, this can explain why the title means "come in," and while "come in" can simply mean come in here and do something, it can also mean to die. And this also fits the melancholy and gloomy and sinister feeling that this poem gives. Yes, that's it.